welcome to CJC Adventures. Carl here, and today it's not the nicest of days, to be fair, to go out on a walk, but I'm here in Sedgley in the Black Country in the good old West Midlands, England, and I'm heading to Beacon Hill. Now Beacon Hill has a little bit of history, quite a bit of history actually, along with panoramic views and so on. And we're going to see the Sedgley Beacon and talk about that, and have a little bit of a talk about the history of the beacon and why it's there. Sometimes it's a little bit of a mystery, but I'm just going to take a look, and I'm taking you along with me, and we're going to see some things on the way and on the way back maybe. So let's go and see Beacon Hill, or the Beacon Tower, here in Sedgley. Let's go and see what we can see. Now that's the actual town centre of Sedgley, and if you go down the side streets you find all these little shops, and I like little shops like this. I think they're quite nice, they're quite cute if you like, especially in a town like Sedgley, because of course Sedgley is a very sort of, well, shall we say a village. Now there's an actual bar here called Cocktails and Dreams, and do you know where that name comes from? Mr. Tom Cruise, of course, Cocktail. And I've always liked that name. It's very, you know, dreamy and nice. But that was, this is actually named after it, obviously, because of the bar in the film with Tom Cruise, Cocktail. I do like that film. It's one of his best films, I think. And yeah, you get all these nice little cute sort of buildings down here, but I say it is classed as a village really, Sedgley. Does have a few cute little places if you like. One here, very small pub, or the Bull's Head. A few jokes about the Bull's Head, isn't there really, the name? Not the actual pub here, of course, but the name. We're heading down that road now. We're going to find the Sedgley Beacon. Now the giveaway, where you know where you pretty much are going the right way, is when you come to this building. This is the Beacon Hotel. It's a very nice building, very traditional. You don't see pubs like this anymore, or hotels like this anymore. Mainly known for being a pub, I suppose, but you can actually stay here, what I've heard, and it's got it there, Sarah Hughes 1921 Homebrewed Ales. It's a very traditional pub. It's kept in the way of a classic way of a British pub really, isn't it? You know, a British B&B or a hotel, and this is pretty much how you know where you're going, and you can actually see it just there, Beacon Lane. So we're heading that direction now. The old signage there, a picture of the beacon on there. What I like as well, you've got all these traditional cobbles, really takes you back in time. Got the old gas lamp, I think it is, hanging over the door. You definitely don't see that anymore, do you, in places? I've got to say, I really love buildings like this, you know, because, you know, of course, it's nice to really preserve buildings like this, isn't it, you know? But we're heading this direction, and you can just see the mast in the distance there. Now, this is actually Beacon Rise. For whatever reason, there's a sculpture of a giraffe in the garden. I've never seen that before in someone's garden, but you can actually see the elevation up here. It's actually quite high and very windy. Now, by all accounts, the place where we're off to on the Beacon Hill is looked after by this estate, and I believe these houses was actually built in the 1960s or somewhere around that era after the war. Now you can actually see this foam mast all the way from Tipton. Now, probably even further than that, but I do look at this most days from a distance and it seems strange that you're right the way by it now. Right next to it really, this big mast. As you look over here, you can see the view. I mean, you can just see the view over there. You can literally see all of the Black Country. You can actually see for miles and miles. Now, it was actually said at one point that someone said you could actually see the Bristol Channel from here. That was later proved as untrue because you can't, but apparently you can see Gloucester on a clear day. But look at that for a view. You can actually see the beacon now coming into sight. It does actually look smaller than you'd see on a picture, doesn't it really? Now, it was actually built in 1846, it's believed, and it replaced another tower, what was here before it, and it was possibly built or past to be built by a Lord Wriothesley for astronomy purposes. Now, you can't actually go inside because a lot of the steps have been taken out of it, and of course you've basically got this fence all the way around it, which makes sense really. Now, as I mentioned before, the houses up here are responsible for keeping all this sort of litter free and, you know, for us all to enjoy, and we're responsible for the actual fencing around and stop any graffiti and things like that, because things like this do need to be preserved, don't they? And it's nice that we can still look and enjoy these things the way they should be enjoyed. Now, this is an actual gate actually leading up to the tower, and of course that gate is no longer accessible. Very old gate, of course, probably wants oiling by now, I imagine, but obviously this fence is here just to preserve and protect the actual monument and the structure, so it makes sense, doesn't it, to have, you know, guarding around it. It really does. Now, that what you can see there in the distance is Wolverhampton. Now, in the distance you can actually see the windmills that you'd normally see what generate electricity, and you can actually see the bigger buildings of Wolverhampton in that direction. It really is strange to see it from here, because, you know, when you see it from a view like this, it's weird really, but also beautiful as well. We're on top of the hill now, and as you can hear, it's breathtaking. You've got to be fit to climb the hill, I think, but it's not too bad. Actual modern steps going down to that part. and in the distance, just over that rise, on the above the housing estate that you can actually see just there, is Birmingham. Now, just to the left of that is West Bromwich. It's really windy up here, to be fair. I mean, look at that. That's Wolverhampton, as I mentioned earlier. It's magnificent, really. We've got the hill down there. I don't really want to fall down there, to be fair. If you do ever come up this way, make sure you take extra care with footing, especially this time of the year. So autumn coming winter, probably best to bring boots because it's very muddy around here and it's hard to avoid it, to be fair. But worth the visit. And just over there you can actually see Bagridge Colliery. Got some more steps, I imagine, leading down to that housing estate down there. I suppose you could sit here for a good few hours, couldn't you, just looking at that view. Apparently you can see, as I mentioned, you can see Gloucester from here. You can actually see the Manda Centre in Wolverhampton over there. Now this whole area is actually 237 metres above sea level, and it's one of the highest points in the West Midlands and one of the highest points as well in the whole of Great Britain. And you can sort of see why, can't you? Because you're just pretty much surrounded by panoramic views. I mean, it's just like something from, you know, a scene from a film, I suppose. When you come up here, sometimes it doesn't look real from certain angles, but it's just a perfect view, isn't it, of the Black Country. It really is. I'm down below sea level now, if you like, even though there's not a sea anywhere in the West Midlands, and the wind has dropped a little bit, so that was where I was, just up there. As you can see, it's not a massive hill, but it's quite sizable. But as I mentioned, if you come here, make sure you do bring decent footwear, because, you know, I suppose on many days it's not too bad, but when it's been raining, I imagine it's like it is today. A bit of a field there, and I've just noticed a very small set of goalposts, football goalposts. The things you come across sometimes. But still. There you go. Beacon Hill. It is a hill. I imagine that must be phone masts. Obviously they weren't here many years ago when the Sedgley beacon was constructed. I suppose they have to be here now, don't they, because of mobile phone signals and so on. I made it back to the beacon now. Now, by all accounts, the actual stairs or steps as it was called back then, were actually not ever removed. I think they removed some of them, the council, to stop people going in there and causing any such damage, or, you know, as you normally get. But apparently the stairs to it are actually still in there, or most of them are. But it's nice, isn't it, that you've still got things around just to admire and just look at, really. This is the other part to it. Not quite sure what that would be used for. Just maybe it was water at one point. Now I probably don't know. Don't know, to be honest. You can just see inside there. Yeah. I bet it's a lovely view up there. It's coming down the hill now, and to me it looks as though it's going to rain. It's been like this most of the day actually. It's been a bit windy here and there, but you know, we had enough rain. And if you come to England, especially in the autumn or the winter, and even the spring and summer, we get rain quite a lot. If we have summers, we do get quite a lot of nice summers, but you know, just overlooking the housing estate now from the view of the beacon. And as I mentioned, I think there was built after the war, maybe the 60s, 1960s, and those are the ones responsible for keeping this area tidy and clean. So yeah, it's worth a trip up here though, if you ever get the chance. Sedgley Beacon. In a side street now in Sedgley. I don't think I've ever seen an island like that with trees and so on. But yeah, this is the side street just off the village itself, coming away from the Sedgley Beacon. No, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that really. You know, you tend to see islands. I don't think I've ever seen one with trees like that. Well, trees, yes, but not like that. That sounds like an old-fashioned name, doesn't it? Scholars Gate. It's actually a housing estate though, so just on the main road here as we head back to the town centre of Sedgley. You don't actually see schools like that anymore, do you, really? I know there used to be, you know, a lot of those sort of schools around with a clock on and, you know, things imprinted into the brickwork. You don't see them like that now, do you, really? I suppose because Sedgley is such an old town, it sort of sticks to the tradition, I suppose, of what it should look like. And I've now made it back to the town centre of Sedgley, and that's going to do it for today on CJC Adventures. Hope you've enjoyed seeing the Sedgley Beacon on the Sedgley Beacon Hill, I suppose. It's been good. And it's been very interesting. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, click on the subscribe icon, then the bell, and you'll be notified when each video is uploaded. And please share. It's all free. And until next time, look after yourselves and each other. And goodbye for now.